Grow your wealth. Live on your terms. Hello, and welcome to their interview series, Conversations with Experts, when experts in all areas of your life will share with you their tips, their strategies, their hacks, and often some gifts. I'm Millen Livis, a host of this show presented by Dare to Change Life and financial independence mentor for professional women who desire to be financially independent and who can get there faster than they believed possible. So they enjoy more freedom and more choices in their life. So today we're going to talk about bigger profits with ease and flow. And my guest is amazing, Trissa Tismal-Capili. Trissa, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me here, Millen. Such a pleasure.
So I just want to briefly introduce you to Trissa so you will know why she is an expert. So Trissa is a CEO of BossTransform.com. She is an author, speaker, certified coach for over 13 years, and she is coaching entrepreneurs, multi-million-dollar business owners, and advising billionaires. She is on a mission to help business leaders to eliminate overwhelm and take their profits to the next level with ease and flow. Welcome again, Trissa.
Thank you.
So, as I mentioned today, we are going to talk about bigger profits with ease and flow. But I want to start with your story. We all have stories that bring us to what we do in life and how we contribute to the world. So share with me briefly what brought you to doing the work that you do.
Great question. So it all started actually as I started in this journey of self-growth as a young girl. I read my first personal growth book at the age of 12. Cover to cover. And so at a young age, I've been like studying about true success. I've been obsessed at a young age. And I went on to using those success advice to in academics, right? In college, getting to the top of my academics and starting my own business as my first job. So as my first job, I was already working with top lawyers, Supreme Court justices, top judges. I built a continuing legal education company and it was fun. I made it innovative. I brought in my youth, my energy. But at the end of it, I was completely overwhelmed. I was having success, but not feeling like I was successful. I was burnt out. And so I was like, wow, you do all this work, but then it was so much hard work and you end up so spent. And so I was still young and I'm like, I'm going to find out, I'm going to know what the secret is. And so it's really this continuous journey of finding out what it really takes to have true success. And so at that time, it was like, I need to find what I love, right? Because I realized that being in that industry, in the legal system, is not what I want. And so I went on and I said, I'm going to find what I love. And I found it. I found coaching. And I was so excited. I know what I love to do. And I went on and applied all the success advice again that I learned. And I went on working, hiring mentors, doing everything. And guess what? I ended up overwhelmed and burnt out again. And this is after doing a lot of stuff, working with New York Times bestselling authors, like what you mentioned, working with multi-million-dollar business owners, doing a lot, like being on Discovery Fit and Health Channel, having an external success. But again, back to where I started, overwhelm and burnout. And so I had to, it's really this, to answer your question, it's this journey of really finding what the answer is. And when I went into my rock bottom of having my body at this point is saying, oh my gosh, something is wrong. Like I developed an autoimmune disease, a stress related autoimmune disease, and my skin literally flared up and inflamed. I looked like, if you would look at me, I looked like somebody got a knife and peeled my skin. It was so raw. And the pain was like that raw, like it looked like it was peeled. And then the feeling was like somebody was squeezing lemons and vinegar all over me. Like that's how painful it was. So that was my rock bottom. And I said, I can't not find the answer anymore. And that's when, sometimes it takes rock bottom, right? To really find out discover what the answer is. And from that point on, I found what I call your true power, my true power. And that was the missing ingredient. And when I have that, then everything fell into place. My autoimmune skin disease that doctors said was incurable, that I would have to bear my whole life, healed. And the toxic relationships that was dragging me down and contributing to the overwhelm and burnout completely transformed. And I am now enjoying a business helping powerful entrepreneurs globally with so much joy and so much ease and abundance and flow. So I cannot be more grateful than ever. So yeah, that's my journey.
Thank you so much for joining this, for sharing this with us, sharing your journey. And what is interesting, I noticed you said that I was successful, but I didn't feel like I was successful. When you're overwhelmed, when you feel exhausted, it's really not very pleasant feeling. And, this external success doesn't really mean much when you are in the condition that you describe. So I want to ask you, how do you define success after all the transformations and experiences that you had? What is your definition of success?
I love that question. So in my journey, right? So as you saw, like this is what we have. We all have this drive to go forward and have what we call success. And what I realized when I found my true power is that drive to move forward, to have more, externally is what we think we're trying to get it externally, is actually a drive to be more of who we are, to be in our natural state. And so success for me is being fully, completely aligned with who I truly am, which is complete abundance, like 100% pure abundance, and being able to buy, right, or have and do what I want whatever I decide that I am able to do that, and that I am able to live the lifestyle that I want, make choices. Basically, it's choice. Like having success is having 100% complete choice. And it's really having not just materially, but most especially like I said, true success is every area of our life, the relationships, the health, the bank account, right? Everything, the lifestyle, it's all of that. That's true success.
Beautiful. Thank you. So let's step back after this interesting transformational story that you went through. And when you describe what I call the dark night of the soul, when your body basically was screaming, stop, do something about it, right? So tell me how, from your experience working with different leaders, how the overwhelm and exhaustion affects them, because you shared your story, but just briefly give us some maybe one or two case studies how this state of overwhelm affects people in business.
So the overwhelm, sometimes not everyone are really aware that they are in the state of overwhelm. But when I actually did a survey, virtually everyone, I got a 100% response rate. It doesn't matter if they're starting out or if they have like a very successful business, everybody experiences overwhelm. And a lot of people starting out, they know, okay, I know what that's like. It's just too much to do, right? And it's kind of like, okay, I know that. But I think what's interesting is to share something about those who are very successful already. They get into overwhelm because the big CEOs, they actually get all the putting out fires, all the biggest, like, biggest problems that the whole company is in their table every single day. And sometimes, they get used to it, and they have this habituation, as you call it. Like, you don't, it's just your everyday. You don't, like stress. Everybody's in a state of stress, and they don't even know it. It's like part of their life. And one day, they would find, like, one specific client is like, okay, I'm here, hundreds of employees, I'm making a ton of money. And yeah, business is like that. But what was suffering was their health and their relationships. It's like, now my son is grown up, and suddenly our relationship is like, it's not there. And so, like, how did this all happen? Like, I built this mega empire, and now this is my health, and this is my relationship. So it's not, and still putting out fires, right? So it's really draining a lot from their lifestyle, the complete potential of what they could be really living, because we all get into business and go to this ladder of success because we want to experience having it all, because we want the good life. But then you end up getting there, and then, like what my earlier experiences are, it's like you get to a certain point and it doesn't feel like success at all.
Thank you for sharing this. When you were talking, I recall this saying. You probably know that new level has a new devil. So you may be, at the beginning in your entrepreneurial career, and you have challenges, and you think like, oh my God, if only I could be at the top of the mountain, I will not have these problems. But the truth is that every new level, every new level of success, external success, has its own challenges. And, sometimes these challenges are much bigger and much more overwhelming than even at the beginning of your career. So I just want people to know that managing the overwhelm and the sense of exhaustion, pacing yourself. Just yesterday, I was recording some video, and I mentioned that we will have this conversation today because it's important to pace yourself. Just like marathon runners or mountain climbers, they need to pace themselves so they will get to the top of this mountain. They will get to the end of this marathon. Otherwise, they will just collapse from exhaustion and maybe dehydration and things like that. So very, very important to be aware of this. Now, next question I have, we all human beings, we all make mistakes. And in this area, in the area of pushing yourself, like acting more from the place of power, from the place of force, which is very common in our society, like do, push. It's very norm in modern world. So what is the number one mistake from your experience that entrepreneurs make when they try to be successful, and at the same time they probably don't manage their efforts and their time and their energy properly?
Actually, you hit it on the nail, that you're actually mentioning it already. The biggest mistake that entrepreneurs make in their climb to success is actually using willpower. So this is the big distinction that I really want to share with your audience, because I mentioned earlier in my story that I went through all the success advice, and most of the success advice actually teach us to willpower stuff, to use discipline. And that is in relation with the force that you were just saying. So it's like using willpower and force and pushing. And when you do that, there is willpower depletion. It is always going to come to a place of depletion. And now you have to, when you mention managing and pacing, sounds great. It's actually a strategy, right? It's a strategy, but it's another brain load for you to actually be adding, into your energetics to add how to manage and how to pace it, on top of everything else that you have to do with your time and in your energy. And so it's actually coming from that perspective or that paradigm of willpowering and having to control things, managing, because so that's the distinction I want to make, is that when you're coming from a mindset that you have to control and do, and strategize everything, that everything is about strategy and systems, that's actually one of the biggest mistakes.
Interesting.
Yes.
Could be being aware and letting go certain feelings, because people are afraid of feelings. Thoughts don't hurt, feelings hurt. Feeling that you behind, feeling that even that you overwhelmed, this feeling is what is hurting. So what do you think if part of the strategy, it's not about, improving your systems or improving maybe your team and things like that. What about strategy to allow yourself to have breaks, allow yourself to have downtime, allow yourself to let go of whatever this feeling of inadequacy might be? Could it be one of the strategies that you would recommend?
So yes. So the reason I say that strategies and systems, like the focus on that is the biggest mistake, is because that's all that people focus on, whether it's strategies of self-care or strategies in the business and getting a support team. They're all strategies, and they're just one of the three pillars of having an overwhelm-free and thriving business, of having bigger profits with ease and flow. It's just 1/3. And people focus 100% on strategies, right? And so that's why they never experience the full potential of being in ease and flow. So yes, to everything you mentioned, those strategies of self-care and pacing, that's just one piece. So what I wanted to share is the other 2/3 of the piece.
Okay.
So the 2/3, so the other third, so there's three pillars. So one is those systems and strategies and support and habits, right? So that's one. The next is what you have to do with actually taking out the button from the trigger. So we have these subconscious programs, right, that have created these buttons on us, that when something is triggered, those buttons are pushed and we act automatically stressed, automatically overwhelmed, because of those buttons. We just have those subconscious programs that was there from childhood, and we were taught by society. And we had experienced traumatic experiences, perhaps throughout your childhood, that created those buttons. And so that's one big thing, is that you want to work, right, and unravel into actually eliminate the buttons completely. Like if
when you say buttons, you refer to triggers, like we have triggers. Okay,
yeah,
all right.
Triggers, right? Like, so if you don't have a button, there's nothing to trigger. There's nothing to trigger overwhelm or stress. There's nothing to trigger fears and anger and hurt to stop, because those are the things that makes it feel hard work. Those are the things that makes it feel overwhelmed, regardless what stage you are in your business. And so if you unravel, that's the work I do with my clients, is yes, we do the strategies part, but that's just 1/3. The other 1/3 is releasing, unraveling those buttons. And the third, so I know we have limited time, I want to tell more, but I want to give you all of it. The third is what I call your true power, which is the state of flow. So aligning completely with the state of flow. And that is actually an energetic frequency. So this is important, because everything, for those who are hearing this for the first time, everything has a frequency, right? If they get an instrument and they recorded the frequency in hertz of fear, right, they saw a very low reading, like 19 hertz. And they recorded the frequency of love, it went up to 532 hertz. And so everything, all our state has a corresponding frequency. And so when we are in fear, when we are in stress, when we're in overwhelm, that is a low frequency. But when we are in bliss, in joy, in flow, in love, that's a very high frequency. And so when we leverage your energetic frequency and you function, you apply all the strategies and skills from this high frequency, that's the jackpot. That's when you actually grow your business from a state of flow, being in that state.
I'm glad you brought it up because you probably know Dr. David Hawkins, who actually measured different energetic frequencies of different emotions. And what is interesting that one of the lowest was apathy. So apathy has energetic frequency even lower than fear. So when we feel overwhelmed, when we feel exhausted, sometimes it's even lower than fear. Sometimes we just, I don't care. I don't care. And this is much lower energetic state than even fear. That's how dangerous it could be. And it's very important to be aware of what you're feeling and attend it, address this in different ways. You know, there are different modalities that people release this negative feelings. You know, we should not resist them, but there are ways to release them. Different modalities that, you know, this is beyond the scope of this interview, but I just wanted to bring this to attention of those who are listening us, that bottling up your emotions is the worst thing you can do. Not allowing yourself to feel them or resisting, you know, acknowledgement of these emotions. That's what leads to disease. And that's why what Trissa is talking about is so important. So I just hope that you really paying attention. So my next question, Trissa, is what would be the #1 secret or key to have the business, profitable business, and yet run it with the ease and flow?
It's really the being in your true power. And that is the state of flow. So I mentioned 3 pillars, right? Those are all important. But if there's just one that could overtake all 3, it's that you're in your state of flow and being in that energetic frequency. Because when you're in that frequency, you know, you don't need strategies and those, you know, like you're going to have that, the openness, the guidance to know what to do and when to do it. You actually open to ideas and information that's beyond any strategy that you can create. You can, you know, that's when innovation happens.
So how do you suggest, for people who are listening, how do you suggest what kind of tools they can use to get into this state of flow while they're running maybe very demanding business?
So it's really being in the state of flow is not something that, okay, I'm going to work right now and I'm going to be in the state of flow. The state of flow is something you just breathe and live, and it's how you are, because you don't want to just feel like I'm in the state of flow while I'm doing my Facebook Live or while I'm doing this report, whatever, you know, or I'm coaching my client. You want to be in that state at home, when you're with the kids, when you're with a husband, everywhere. And that's when life becomes a flow. And there's, like what you mentioned, there's a lot of ways that we can get to that. But my favorite to me, to get me into a state of flow, is really just, I like music. I like songs. So I really bring myself in a high energetic state with music. So one tactic is to, you know, YouTube has a lot of very high frequency music. Like you can just search, you know, high frequency vibration, you know, and play that and meditate with that music. And that can immediately get you in a higher state.
I'm glad you brought up music, because music basically it's a vibration. And again, referring to Dr. David Hawkins, he says that, for example, music like heavy metals was not contributing to higher vibrational frequency versus classical music and jazz. actually, according to his research, was contributing to higher emotional states. So yes, music, I agree. I also love, sometimes when I work, often actually when I work, I have some music in the background using YouTube. So this is a great tip. Thank you so much. So Trissa, great information, great tips. And I know that you have a book that you wanted to talk about. So why don't you share with us what this book is about? And I will share with you the link. As Trissa speaks, you will see where you can find it. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. So the book is called Your True Power, The Key to Your Amazing Life. And it is available right now for only $1. We're in launch, so it's a special rate. It's only $1. And with that dollar, you get this book with 14 amazing true stories of transformation from rock bottom to a life amazing beyond our imaginations when we found our true power. And so you get this, you get inspired, and you really feel that, you know, if these women can do it, I can do it too. And you're with the different voices and perspectives, you're going to know if it's, you know, you're going to know, really have a deeper understanding of what your true power is, what it is for you, because different voices, different words, different stories, by the end of it, you're going to know what your true power is. And with that $1 book, you also get over $2,000 in bonuses, amazing bonuses. And you also get a raffle entry to win a chance to win $1,000 and other amazing prizes. And I know it's a lot, but that also, so you get the bonuses, you get the raffle entry, and you get to contribute to charity, because all proceeds go to charity and COVID relief. And we really just we're making it easy. That's why we're making it so fun. And we're doing all these amazing fun stuff, is because we want to make it easy for you to say yes to be in your true power and share it with all your family and friends, because we can't do this on our own. Millen, she's doing a great job spreading this amazing love and information, and we can't do it alone. We need your help so we can bring the entire world in true power. So thank you. I hope you get a copy.
Okay, people, this is amazing offer, great book, great bonuses. And hey, to get the book just for $1, like who won't? So thank you so much, Trissa. Thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing your experience, your amazing story, your transformations, and what you do in the world, how you help other people to have successful, profitable businesses without feeling overwhelmed and be in a state of flow. Thank you so much. And just for our audience, next week, I will have another interview with an expert at 10 o'clock Eastern on Wednesday. Every Wednesday, we have some kind of broadcast. And I will be interviewing amazing guests as well. I only invite amazing guests, as you may notice. And she will be talking about how you can create a story, how you can create your signature talk and be a very impactful, very inspiring public speaker. So join me next week for another episode of Conversations with Expert next Wednesday, 10 o'clock Eastern. Thank you so much for your time today. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you next week. Grow your wealth. Live on your terms.